All right. Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me clearly. It is about 10:40 p.m. when I'm recording this, and mainly because, look, I was on my way to bed, had a great Sunday, but had a client say, "Hey, when are you going to start National Board Support?" And I said, "Yo, I totally forgot. One of the best things that Synergy Ed Consultant um, offers. We've been in this world of coaching and support for virtual learning, and almost forgot about creme de la creme for our organization as far as going ahead and launching it. So I had to go ahead and make sure that calendar fits, and we can get that national board support out to everyone. Not just in North Carolina, but nationally as always. So why now can be the best time for national boards? My name is Kimberly Perry Sanderlin. I am CEO and co-founder of Synergy Ed Consulting Group. Let's go ahead and get started. So I affectionately call it COVID season. So if we think back to the true beginnings of COVID season as it relates to public education, and we think back to March, that's what a lot of us look like. That whole aspect of trying to juggle learning a new way of teaching. When we think about virtual learning, that wasn't something that everyone was accustomed to. I have loved virtual learning for the last 10 years, but for the majority of educators, it was new. Trying to juggle being a parent at home with their kids 24/7. And it had been the first time in a while for many of us to see that aspect of, trying to juggle teaching our paid, students we get paid for, and doing the same thing as far as facilitating or teaching our own kids at home. Where do I fit in exercise? How do I get in all these phone calls? What time do I have to get up to get all this done? What is finances going to look like? Because I don't know about you. I have a growing 8-year-old prince, and he was eating me out of house and home. Was not truly used to him always going in the pantry or always going in the refrigerator because he wasn't home during the day. So budgets look differently. And again, we all end up having a face like hers. How am I going to get it done? So a lot of us, when June rolled around, were like, woo, if I thank you for just these few weeks of reprieve. Now, current fall season, for many of us, it cut into our summertime, but we had to get it done for our kids. Districts started rolling out professional development support, truly giving training, because that's what was missing, when we went into that emergency mode during COVID season. Fall season actually started off with lots of districts saying, hey, this is what our teachers need. How can we make sure we at least support them in developing learning systems that will work for our kids? So for many of you, that came in the form of Google Classroom, Canvas, whatever that LMS might be, really transitioning to this world of blended, for some, flipped learning. And now a lot of you are into that teaching groove. You have learned the learning management system. You have made it your own. You're used to whatever webinar system you're using, whether or not that's Zoom, Meet, Google Meet, whatever it is, you have truly mastered it. And you're in that groove like this guy you see here. And that's a good place to be. That's where true teaching professionals thrive. So what's next? Now, I will say, if you're still looking like this, the rest of this video might not be that helpful to you, and that's okay. We all have our own trajectory. We all have the time that it might take us to get to that groove. And some of us, I understand, you might not be quite there yet. You still might feel overwhelmed. And if you are someone that feels overwhelmed at this point in the game, please contact Synergy Ed Consulting. We are here to really help you. We are definitely your one-stop shop for virtual education support. So we definitely want to help you figure out how to get through this season in an effective and efficient manner, how to successfully get through this season. You can reach us at Facebook is, you know, the best place to reach us right now, because we've just put up a fresh survey. So you can click that learn more button and it'll take you to a survey and you can tell us exactly what type of services and needs you have. And you can reach us at National Board Support, or you can Google Synergy Ed Consulting. All right. But if this is you and you got that smile on your face, each day gets easier in this world of blended learning, then the rest of this video is for you, because we feel that you might be a good candidate right now in this season to pursue National Board Support or continue the pursuit, because some of you were in the midst of it before we went into quarantine season. So here's the litmus test. Few questions to see if this National Board journey is for you. So, have your administrators been giving you great feedback on your walkthroughs in this season? Have you been able to present or been asked to present in front of your building colleagues or even your district, maybe your state? Do colleagues flock to you, come to you for professional advice and questions that they might have, and they know that you can get those answers? Do students flock to your class and not want to leave? Do you have great relationships with your parents and community stakeholders? Are you passionate about the profession? And this is one that we usually don't put a lot of emphasis on, but do you want some more money? Ways to get a salary increase have definitely dwindled in 21st century education. So are you looking for a way to increase that paycheck with the least amount of continuous long-term needs, such as having a part-time job? Lots of educators have a part-time job. Well, if you're trying to avoid that, I would say this is the route for you in this season. And National Board Certification might be your next journey. Now, I know some of you might be looking like this. KPS, I'm not sure about that. It was, it was kind of an obstacle, a journey to get to this level of comfort. I don't know if I want to put too much more on my plate. Well, I'm going to tell you, honestly, with the right support, this might be the best season ever to explore, commit to, and get National Board Certification done. And I'm going to tell you why. So there are a few advantages. There are actually a lot of advantages to doing national boards right now. And we're going to go over 7 of those. All right. First one, the first advantage is efficiency of recording. You're already using a learning management system such as Canvas or Google Classroom, so the recording is already embedded. It's just click record. And I highly recommend, this is an extra tip, an extra Synergy Ed tip, I highly recommend recording each and every day anyway, all right? Even if you don't pursue national boards, it's a great way to archive it for your students. This is a whole nother training that we do for Synergy Ed, but I'll just go ahead and let you get part of it. That whole aspect of recording it just because you will again have that archive where students can go back and see your lessons. It's great for reflection, just to reflect on your practice, to go back and see how students might portray or might view you, perceive you, and then make corrections as needed or tweaks and adjustments. So I do want to focus your attention to the fact that there has been a national board amendment. They are now accepting electronic release signatures in this season. Now, you might be saying, what does that mean? So it's a big enough deal that I actually made it advantage number 2. The ease of acquiring those release signatures that you need, and really focusing on those student release forms. Now, if you ask any former national boards candidate, I promise you, one of the things that they might point out as an obstacle is securing those release forms from students. I have heard of folks giving 4 and 5 copies, still not getting them back from kids, folks having to do house visits to get them. It can be a process in and of itself, and that can be frustrating. So the fact that they are accepting electronic signatures in this season will definitely streamline the process for you considerably. And if you don't know how to create electronic signatures, SEC, Synergy Ed Consultant has you covered. So advantage number 3, efficiency of editing. Again, most learning management systems actually include easy to use editing software. And that is a plus, because if you look at this image, that is what the process used to look like when people created their videos on VHS. Or, you know, I had a flip camera. If you remember flip cameras when they were out, they were little boxes, the USB port flipped out, you can plug it right in the computer, and that was upgraded technology. You know, now folks are so used to using their cell phones, getting that good HD. This is going to be even better. That whole aspect of you already have a clean recording, MP4, it's easier to splice and isolate the portion that you need. You don't have to send it off like some people did in the past that were like, I don't know how to get the section that I want, having to pay someone to edit it for you. You don't have to do that. You can do it all yourself. Definitely because of the use of a learning management system. It is amazing, folks. You can tell this has been an area that I have loved for over a decade, so I get excited. Advantage number 4, you get to show more of your lessons. Now, if we think about traditional teaching, you had transition time, and this limited how much of your teaching could actually be highlighted. Well, in the virtual environment, you and your learners are always front and center. And it's powerful, you know, it makes it easier. And I know that, you know, as someone that has been a former scorer for the last 4 or 5 years, it's one of those aspects where they train us for days on how to be objective. But you gotta admit, distractions can really pull your score away. I'm sorry, you can be trained all day to be objective. The distractions, a little Tommy tapping in the corner, or you know, going from group to group, that can be distracting. And in that environment where everybody's in their little box and it's a focus on teaching, so you and the learners are front and center. So if you need help keeping those cameras on, because I have heard as a practitioner myself, as a consultant, as a facilitator of learning, one of the obstacles that I hear the most in this season is I had kids that they won't stay on camera. There are ways to motivate them to get that done and make it consistent. So we definitely have you covered in that area too. SEC's got you covered. So we will definitely have tricks and tips on keeping those kids on camera. Advantage number 5, it is easier to create and document differentiation efforts in the virtual world. So virtual learning creates a concentrated learning environment. What I mean by that is, I talked about it earlier, the learning is right there, not only in your whatever webinar system you use, whether or not that's Zoom or Google Meet, the learning is right there. Everybody has their square. And it's easy to capture on one screen. It's easy to see multiple kids' facial expressions and how you react to those facial expressions as a teacher. And it's all there, just concentrated. So it helps to focus your score's lens on the learning with little to no distractions. That's a plus. Now, whether or not you're using strategic breakout rooms for differentiation or tiered assignments within their Google Classroom or Canvas, these are all strategies that you will be able to pinpoint. It's going to be easier to isolate and show to your scores, but these are things that you can then elaborate on in your component writing. So if you need suggestions on ways to differentiate in the virtual world, yeah, you got it. Synergy Ed has you covered on that as well. Advantage number 6, more time to actually write. Now, no matter how we, try to top this up, you got to realize and give credit to the fact that meetings have been streamlined. I have loved my virtual meetings. I don't know about you, but meetings have been streamlined. There's no lost time for transitions in between classes, or you having to transition in between meetings and things like that. Many of us are still home. I'm actually in my building, loving it. Shout out to Wake County, the way that they have made it. My son actually goes to work with me right now. It's so cool. We'll never get this time again. Anyway, soapbox. I digress. But many of us are still home, which means that you have gained back commuting hours. And some of us didn't even think about it like that. For me personally, at my old job, I'm at a new job this year, but in my old district, I had a 2-hour commute, an hour there, hour back. That's time that I actually have gained back. Now, whether or not we are utilizing that time watching Netflix or doing some other things is up to us. So, if you need help maximizing your new time, SEC's got you covered, all right? So we'll make sure that you understand how can we maximize that time and funnel that to the process. Finally, advantage number 7, easier access to quality training and support. I've been saying it through all these advantage slides. Synergy Ed National Board Support is here for you. So let's talk about why Synergy Ed National Board Support Series is what you need in this season. First of all, it's convenient. Like we said, everything is, accessible at home these days, including our Synergy Ed National Board Support. You can do it in your pajamas, and that is actually what we talk about being one of the biggest advantages. Our support, most of it is going to be asynchronous so that you can access it on your own timetable. We will have live Q&A sessions to go along with each of our sessions, each of our 10 sessions. They will be accompanied with live sessions each month. The second thing is that we have a proven system, 95% success rate since 2015 when it comes to our national boards candidates who completed the entire series. And that's important because we do offer a la carte. We want it to fit folks, get in where you fit in. But, the folks that are part of that 95% success rate are the people that go from session 1 to 10. As a language arts teacher, I believe in that whole cyclical learning where everything builds upon the next. So each session builds upon the next. I just honestly say, I don't recommend it. We offer a la carte, but I definitely recommend you investing in all 10 sessions and going through them in succession. That is where we have seen the most success. And if you compare that 95% to any state or district support, I promise you it's going to definitely be above the rest. We have trained leaders. So that aspect of you having folks that, have been doing national board support for over 2 decades. You have folks like myself that have been scoring for national boards for the last, 4 or 5 years. You couple that all together and you have truly comprehensive trained leaders who are going to support you throughout the process. And the last thing is we offer continuous layered support. Now, I have attended some phenomenal national board sessions, but what sets us apart from them? Those national board sessions are isolated. So you might have a getaway weekend where you come together for a day, maybe 2, and you get, concentrated help from, national board certified folks, people that have gone through the process, been trained, but it's only for 2 days. And what happens after you leave? And a lot of times those sessions are in January, February, or March, where the expectations that you've already written. But what happens if you're a candidate that has not had support up to then and your stuff kind of sucks? I hate to say it, I'm a very honest person. Then you don't have a lot of time to fix that. Why not have support from the beginning so that you can do it right from the beginning? We're all about effective and efficiency when it comes to the process. So let's quickly go through our 10 strategic sessions. The first session is what is national boards and what are my parameters? So we're actually going to lay out the foundation, talk about what, how to pay for national boards, talk about what are the benefits, and any and everything that will get you started. Session 2 is a new one. It's tips for success in the virtual learning world. We all are doing shifts, particularly in the national board world. So we want to make sure you know how to be a successful candidate in this virtual learning world. Session 3 is where do I start? And this is one of those bread and butter sessions for Synergy Ed. We're going to introduce the Synergy Ed pacing guide and, you know, give you time and support you through creating a pacing guide that you can stick to so that you make sure that you are able to submit yours. You know, we pride ourselves on making submissions before the deadline. And so that comes from preparedness. So a lot of that preparedness is because of that Synergy Ed pacing guide. And we have added accountability partners, particularly in this virtual setting. We feel like accountability partners throughout the process is even more needed in this process. So session 4, picking smarter, not harder. How to choose focused children and classes. Now, I know I hear a lot of folks say, oh, I'm just gonna use my AIG group. That's not always the best move, and we'll explain why. Or I'm going to use my lowest group because nowhere to go but up. Not necessarily the best move either. So we will definitely talk about looking at your unique situation and identifying which is going to be your best bet as your focus group of students. Session 5 is also a new session, capturing your best. Properly vetting your virtual recordings. We're going to put some time into, you know, what section actually shows your best and how to vet it, how to start to edit those as well. Session 6 is National Boards Writing. We're going to talk about how National Boards Writing differs from other common writing tasks. Folks will say, oh, I've already got my master's, so this will be a cakewalk. Not necessarily, folks. So we're going to really look at what does National Boards Writing require of you and how can you meet those guidelines? Session 7 is self-critiquing for success. How to vet your own work. This is another staple in the Synergy Ed framework for National Board support. We put a lot of emphasis in making sure that you know the standards, the National Board standards, and we have created a system that turns those standards into a self-critiquing rubric, so that you can start to vet your own work, figure out where you have holes, and fix that before you even go on and share with your accountability partner and go on and share as you get feedback from National Board Certified Educators. Session 8 is how to be successful with Component 4. I have found, and I was a scorer for Component 4 for about 4 years. Component 4 years, yep. And I learned that a lot of folks fear Component 4. Component 4 in the last iteration of National Boards, as it was revamped the last time, Component 4 did change. And a lot of folks just don't even know how to read it, how to balance out that component. There is a lot of emphasis on data analysis as an educator, but also emphasis on you connecting with all stakeholders or other stakeholders in helping your students be successful. And a lot of folks missed the mark on this one. So we will put a lot of time in that session on how to be successful with Component 4. Session 9 is what a lot of folks get excited about. That's our unit assistance for National Board Certified, our unit assistance from National Board Certified Educators. You actually will have those sessions. Each person will get, you know, time with a National Board Certified Educator and go over one or more of your components. And finally, how to be an assessment assassin. This one was one that we added last year, and we really put a lot of time and emphasis into, you know, how to be effective in that assessment center in those entries. And I love it because it's basically, we go through mock assessment series. So it's like, you know, what is it going to be like on that day? We actually go through one or two sessions with you, and they're going to be timed just like they would at the assessment center. So that is actually a session that folks love. All right, and you get all of that for an amazing value. So great value for what you are getting. Our Synergy Ed support until October 20th, and that's my birthday. So we actually extended it. It was finished in September, but we're in honor of the national holiday that is KPS's birthday. I love birthdays. We are extending our early bird to October 20th. So you have a few more weeks to get in at that $199.99 value price. After October 20th, the price will go up to $249.99. But if you pause here and actually look at what you are getting over the next few months, it is valued at about $700. So this is definitely a great value, no matter how you slice it. Now, how do you sign up? It's simple. You can go to www.synergyedconsulting.com and click on the tab Training Events. And I'm pretty sure that I probably put the direct link because I don't want anybody having any excuses. Pretty sure I put the direct link with this video. Also, please, please, please make sure that you follow us. We have a new YouTube page. You can pause here and get that link. Also, you can follow us at Instagram at Synergy Consulting. And please go into our, once you go to that Facebook page, go ahead and like us, like that Facebook page. You can also follow so you won't miss any videos. We will be putting up a lot of tips for not only national boards, but virtual education support on a weekly basis. So you do not want to miss those connections. All right. We look forward to many of you all joining that cohort. We do have limited spaces since we have extended it. We have a few seats left, so do not hesitate. Go ahead and join so you can change your whole professional outlook. Change your dynamics, even for your family, particularly if you live in a state where that will increase your income. There's so many advantages. So, even without it, I hate to say that, even without that increase in pay, just the increased introspection as a practitioner is phenomenal. There is nothing else that I have partaken in as an educator that has grown and just grew me to who I am. So national boards really, it's something that I believe in wholeheartedly, and I can't wait to assist you. The rest of the team cannot wait to assist you in becoming national board certified. Can't wait to see each and every one of you in the cohort. Thank you.